won't just use the standard response. I'm not sure if that responds to the question about the best template, because I'm not sure I understood it completely. But if I answered, great. If not, post another question. Do we see any changes in the H-1B quota in the coming years? Hopefully. Okay, as you know, there have been some changes in United States government over the last 24 hours, right? Major changes. And more will be spoken about that in the conference. However, I think that even though there's been a lot of negative rhetoric in the elections about immigration, it's mostly been under the topic of illegal immigration. And so this area of employment-based immigration and legal immigration and our economy and trying to grow the economy, I think is going to be it should be received positively by the current administration, I think. And whether there will be more H-1B visas available, I'm not sure. Another development that has come is the STEM extension of the OPT workers that will be talked about also later in a future panel today. And other things that will be used to help bridge the gaps where you're trying to have the quota, you're trying to bring the workers in and you're looking for every way possible not to lose the talent. Okay, so I think yes, I think in the future there will be some improvements in the quota, or there will be ways to help bridge those gaps. Okay? Full form of IEEE. I'm not sure what that means either. Somebody who knows could raise their hand. Tell me what that means. Okay? Yeah. Oh, okay, so you wanted to know what it means. The full form means the words that make it up. Institute. Exactly. Oh, good. So now we have the microphone, which is even more embarrassing if you're not a very, if you're a timid person, you'll hold the microphone and speak in front of all your colleagues today. That's why Slido's nice, because you could be anonymous almost, just sitting there, post a question, even if you're very shy. That's good. We invite it. So, excuse me, IEEE is the Institute for Electrical Engineers and Electronics Engineers, and it's a professional organization where normally people who enter that one will be at the professional level and not at the junior level or entry level. Okay? They could be entry level engineers, but they won't be technicians. Okay? They won't be the people that support the engineers. And so that's helpful for USCIS to see that the person is working at the higher caliber. This is a good question. Is the client letter in support of the H-1B application really so important? It seems like just another piece of evidence. Well, this is going back to the question about whether you want to over-document a case or under-document. How much effort do you want to go through to make a support letter for H-1B case? Do you want the letter to include every possible aspect of the assignment, to explain the background of the worker, explain the professional credentials of that worker and why they are qualified, and tell a big story? It's so much of work. Sometimes that thing just gets tossed aside by USCIS. I think we've all seen that. And so, again, I think a balanced approach is probably good. Should there be a support letter? I think there should be a support letter. If you don't have some support letter to explain what the job description will be, immigration will most likely reject it or ask for some description that would be there. If you don't explain the degree requirement, again, they could come back and ask. So you should at least include these basic elements. What's being assigned? What is the requirement? And maybe what will the person be doing there? It can be useful, I think, to add more information about the project, maybe specifically where the person will work, and outline when they will work there and other details that could be helpful for the officer. But again, that's something that's left to each of you to decide how much you want to do for this. Because there should be an itinerary somewhere in the H-1B package. If it's an assigned kind of case where the person will work off-site, there should be some kind of assignment description and a timeline. Okay? And that could be done in the support letter. All right, it looks like we've only got a couple more minutes. Very good. Somebody's asking what we should expect from the presidential results from yesterday. I think we've got some, again, there's going to be presentation. I won't try to fathom an answer more than I already have because I don't want to take away from anybody else's presentation. But I think there are hopefully some good things that will come. Probably the fear over all of the immigration that was mentioned in the election and now Donald Trump, so many people are afraid. Fear is kind of good for the legal industry, actually, you know, for me, because people will be scared. They'll be calling me and asking, what should we do? What should we do? And that's an opportunity for me. But for the rest of the world, it's a little bit scary, and we don't know what it means yet. More on that later. All right. What can be done to reduce the RFEs being requested? We talked about some of that, and that's probably a good place to end up this discussion, to wrap it up. I think one of the things you can do to avoid the RFE is to be somewhat careful in your preparation of the H1-B. Of course, the simple RFE is the one you really shouldn't have, right, where they just ask for something basic. You shouldn't be there trying to give them a diploma or something else that has come that should have been in the package. Without a careful review, somebody should have noticed that. Those are the basic things that you shouldn't see. And so taking the time to review the application maybe a few times, or having a checklist that you will match against each H1-B, saying, does it have the support letter? Does it have all the forms? Have they been signed? You know, does it have the diplomas? Are the evaluations there? Is there a master service agreement or a client letter? And if not, what have we done, or are we going to do anything to provide secondary evidence to establish the availability of work and so on? So maybe having a process that you follow for each case against a checklist or something like that would be a way that you could make sure that nothing is being left out, or if it is, that it was strategic, that you did it on purpose, okay? No surprises, no accidents. And with that, we're wrapping up this panel. And I think for the next few minutes, we'll get our next trainer up to the podium here. So have a moment, take a few moments. Thank you very much.